Kenya's constitution speaks directly to the matter of the country's borders, and wrapped around that constitutional foundation is the ever-present challenge of migration, one that no nation in the world has been spared. In the United States, President Donald Trump's aggressive focus on migration has drawn both strong public support and fierce criticism over human rights concerns during enforcement. NTV's senior reporter Ngina Kirori traveled to the United States and secured rare access to information on border protection and security in a country whose relationship with Kenya has come under fresh scrutiny following the Ebola quarantine facility deal.
In 2014, Kenya announced it would construct a multi-billion shilling wall along its border with Somalia. The project sparked optimism in the wake of terror attacks that had claimed hundreds of lives in Kenya. So ambitious was the plan that BBC News reported its budget was double what Kenya had set aside for its strategic food reserves. The wall was designed to stretch over 700 kilometers, a barrier not only against Al-Shabaab militants, but also against illegal immigration. Yet 4 years later, just 10 kilometers had been built at a cost of 3.3 billion shillings of taxpayer money. The government suspended the project in 2018. A starkly different reality plays out along the southwest border between the United States and Mexico. Here, a 33-mile or 53-kilometer wall cuts through Tucson in the state of Arizona. Built to stem rampant illegal crossings, it has helped reduce daily arrests from thousands to a few hundred. Now, Kenya can relate to this ambitious project of building a 31-mile border wall between U.S. and Mexico. In 2015, following the gruesome attack at Garissa University by Al-Shabaab militants, Kenya began the ambitious project of building a 700-kilometer wall between Kenya and Somalia. However, scandals of corruption have obviously rocked this, leading to only 10 kilometers out of the 700-kilometer wall being constructed between Kenya and Somalia. Migration sat at the heart of President Donald Trump's 2024 campaign, and its centrality only grew once he returned to the White House. One of his first acts as president was declaring a national emergency along the southern border.
You know, it's not just the infrastructure, it's the technology and the manpower to work all together to create a secure border. So you have the physical barriers and roads to access. You have the technology to locate it and identify it. And then you need the agent or the officer on the ground to work it.
I think Arizonans and Americans sincerely felt that the border was out of control and that order needed to be restored. People were being impacted by a porous border in a way that was threatening their safety, the safety of their communities.
While many Americans who voted for Trump on this platform have welcomed the crackdown, sharp criticism followed. Authorities have been accused in some instances of disregarding human rights and the dignity of migrants during enforcement. At the center of that criticism sits the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, otherwise known as ICE, which operates under the Department of Homeland Security and has become the most recognizable symbol of the backlash against migration enforcement.
ICE cases are usually involve defendants who are away from the border, and then they're pursuing them because they have a warrant either from us or they have criminal histories that are significant.
ICE has faced allegations of harassment and physical and sexual abuse of people held in custody. A report published by the Associated Press in February 2026 detailed multiple arrests of ICE agents for misconduct dating back to 2020. But ICE is only one piece of a much larger picture. Border security in America is a multi-agency operation. Under the Department of Homeland Security, Customs and Border Protection, or CBP, is the department's largest component and the world's biggest law enforcement organization.
Having a dog when you're doing a search, like how much time?
CBP operates through 3 branches: Border Patrol, the Office of Field Operations, and Air and Marine Operations. This stretch of the southwest border has long been a flashpoint for criminal activity. In 2026 alone, 100 million doses of the drug fentanyl was seized along the border. CBP records show enforcement encounters peaked in 2023 with 3,201,144 people recorded in its database. By April 2026, that figure had fallen sharply to 215,876. The terrain here betrays the harsh weather conditions that sometimes prove to be the Achilles heel of those looking to illegally cross into the United States. Battling with the desert climate with little to no tree cover, these groups have sometimes had to give up their illegal missions and use the rescue towers set up by a special wing of CBP named the Border Patrol Search, Trauma and Rescue, or BORSTAR.
Well, if he didn't get a hold of us, what was your plan?
I don't know. We'll probably die.
Each rescue tower is fitted with a telephone, emergency lighting, and a distress button that alerts authorities to the exact location. In an instant, the dynamic shifts from fleeing from the law to calling on it, simply to survive. Severe dehydration and other life-threatening complications are common, and more often than not, the people in this situation were misled by the ringleaders of human smuggling cartels, who downplayed or outright lied about the dangers of the crossing and the reality waiting on the other side. Back in Kenya, border matters remain unsettled. In February 2026, President William Ruto announced plans to reopen the Kenya-Somalia border, but by May, those plans were put on ice. Internal conflict had erupted in Somalia, with the Somali National Army clashing with Jubaland forces right at the border, pushing Jubaland troops into Kenyan territory. The complexity of border security is not confined to moments of open conflict. It persists even in the quieter seasons. With the recent reopening being halted and an incomplete mega-wall project, locals living along the Kenya-Somalia border will be watching for the policies and changes that will grant them the elusive stability they have sought for decades. Ngena Kirori, NTV.